so bored. I have no one to talk to at this conference outside of the Bay. Yeah, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you try reading this? Oh.
Community East?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
What's that? Hey, what's that? Looks really cool.
I'm just reading up on the issues of MUN. You guys want to read too?
Sure, of course.
Good morning, delegates, and welcome to the first episode of METV, the official news broadcast of THIMUN Singapore. We here at METV understand that the conference is hectic and it's a bit difficult to keep track of exactly what happens around the various committees. I'm Paul Choi.
And I'm Albert Ju, and we'll be bringing you news to keep you up to date, as well as entertainment to amuse you during these 3 days of conference.
The opening ceremony of THIMUN Singapore 2010 was held at the Changi Auditorium at the end of yesterday's session. Many committees' lobbying sessions are heading to an end, and the debates are about to start. Reporter Lydia An captured the scene.
For the first day at THIMUN, the yearly opening ceremony is about to begin. After a long, hard day of lobbying, the delegates are currently in the main auditorium for the official start of the THIMUN Conference. The opening ceremony began on a rainy note as the delegates quickly rushed to the auditorium. It started off with the introduction from various guest speakers, as well as the Secretary General, Anja Gullerfelt from Dubai International Academy.
I love the performances, they were really good, and the speech is really inspiring.
After, lovely performances filled the air with music ranging from the piano to a string quartet. The students quickly went home after a long day and kicked off day one of the THIMUN Conference. Do you have any comments about the opening ceremony?
I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Our guest speaker, Dr. Chesterman, I thought his speech was really, really good, and he used my favorite United Nations quote, so I was really happy. And the musical pieces from the Hwa Chong Institution, obviously fantastic, and I think it went very smoothly in general.
This was Lydia An from METV. Back to you, Albert and Paul.
In light of recent events, METV would like to shift focus to an occurrence outside of the THIMUN Conference. On November 22nd, South Korea and North Korea opened fire on one another, but it has not officially been confirmed which country started the struggle. Regardless, our conference here in Singapore is a realistic setting to discuss such an issue.
On account of yesterday's incident in Yeongpyeong, South Korea and North Korea's tension has worsened. In recent months, South Korea has accused North Korea of the Cheonan incident, while North Korea has contested the claim. Regardless of who is responsible, yesterday's incident should be a concern for all delegates of THIMUN.
The two countries opened fire for approximately 1 hour. During this time, about 130 shots were traded between the two sides. 2 Korean Marines died and 19 civilians were injured. Not only that, residential areas were damaged. South Korea is on the highest state of alert since the armistice signed in 1953. METV has interviewed delegates from South Korea, DPRK, China, and USA to see their viewpoints on this incident.
I feel that it is deeply unfair that South Korea has received this from North Korea, as we have not done anything like this to North Korea, and they have no right to harm our country.
In fact, that South Korea has bombed North Korea first. And I understand that the delegate of South Korea has said that North Korea has done nothing to them, but in fact we have received continuous nuclear threats from the USA and South Korea and Japan, so we feel like the media has been misleading the audience to believe what they want.
Okay, the United States regrets any loss of life in the Korean Peninsula, and we recognize the need for stability on the Korean Peninsula. But we also note that we cannot have aggression by any sides, especially North Korea, as they have constantly aggressed at international waters, and we cannot accept North Korean aggression towards the South Korean people.
This was clearly an error of miscommunication between the military units and the actual people firing the rounds. Because of this, any further escalation of the war by either South Korea or its allies will result in China supporting its ally North Korea by going tactical nuclear.
Sometimes the issues discussed in MUN are very relevant to the present world. We hope for a lasting peace in the Korean Peninsula soon. This was Leah Park. Back to you, Albert and Paul.
Thank you, Leah. This just goes to show how relevant Model United Nations can be to real-world events. It's important to keep such a connection in mind even during debate. Some schools arrived in Singapore a couple of days before the conference started and spent some time on their own. METV captured what students did with their free time.
Singapore, one of the major tourist attraction cities in the world. The Hwa Chong Institution is hosting its annual THIMUN session. The delegates work hard from 9 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. After a hard day's work, delegates have leisure time to explore the city and enjoy the many attractions in it.
Safari. Sentosa. Sentosa. Nice safari.
Delegates have expressed interest in going to the night safari, which information is given at the SALT Center. This is Yerambyun, METV.
Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of METV. You can watch today's broadcast as well as future episodes on this website.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good rest of the day.
Notes.
Paper. Pencils. Food.
Delegates.
Hot. Awesome. People.
UN. Amazing.
Fantabulous. Sexy. Very diplomatic.
Singapore.
Starbucks.
Hot. Hot.
Really hot.
China. Chair.
Hot. Hot.
Table. Suit.
Sexy. Sexy. Even more sexy.
How I Met Your Mother. Immunity.
What? I love, what immunity? This person.
Diamond.
Awesome.